So today we're going to make the monkey balloon sculpture that you see on balloons.com.au. I've pre-made a few things here. We've got the 4-pack with the zebra print. We've got just the, I did this at 2.0 by the way on our size Conwin machine. It's probably about 7 inches if you're trying to do it with other machines. The little 4-pack, we've done it a bit smaller than we do for table settings. The bubbles pre-made, all this stuff you'll be able to do yourself, no problems. So we use a cake base, nice little silver cardboard cake base for the foot of the monkey. 16-inch mocha brown, a couple of 260Qs, all ready to go. So first things first is cut a little hole as centered as you can in the cake board base. So I just use a Stanley knife, get through there as it's not quite centered, but it really doesn't matter too much. And thread your 260Q through there. There we go. Okay, so the H-clip is what I use, and I won't do it right now because I'm going to tighten it. The H-clip just holds that in place when you pull the 260Q up to tie the, let's do it now, the 11-inch on the base. Wrap that around a few times, the H-clip. Pull it through. Pull it so I'm adding a bit of tension, if you can see that. Now, a little bit different to the way we did it originally on the website, but for the feet, or the base of the monkey, I've added since the little 4-pack of 5-inch mocha brown. Just helps stabilize it and gives it a little bit more height. So I don't know about you with 260Qs, but I always like to tie a knot. Don't just let the friction of it alone hold it on. Okay, that's on. Now the important thing there with the size of the 11-inch is you'll notice that the 11-inch won't actually be touching the surface. So if the whole sculpture is placed on a rough surface, it won't, it'll eliminate the opportunity of it popping. So make sure you have a nice wide base plate. I haven't pulled too tight. You can see it sort of bends the cardboard down a little bit if you go too tight with that 260Q. All right, so this is what's called a raisin technique with the 16-inch. We just need to create a rigging point on the top of the balloon. So I use jelly beans. It's soft, there's no sharp edges, it's cheap, it's always available. Plop it in. Now getting the dead center of the top of that 16-inch is really, really important. And I'm just just pull it a couple of times, and I'm just sort of moving around my left hand there to center that jelly bean as much dead center in the top. And then I pinch it, okay. Get a 260Q, wrap it around couple of times the base there, the base of the jelly bean. Tie that off. Okay, double knots. Alright, so I'm going to blow it up. Now make sure you don't inflate the 16-inch too big, because the last thing I want is it for it to pop. Didn't quite get dead center, if you can see that, but that's okay. So look, we're probably at about, I don't know, 13, 14 inches. That's fine. Always err on the side of caution, don't go too big. Okay, so I've just tied that off. So the natural shape of the sculpture is to have the neck, so thinning out to the top. We've got our 260Q there. We can just wrap that around again. I like to also just wrap the 4-inch pack around that there, 5-inch pack. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So next we inflate the arms. With 260Qs, I think on this machine with the pressure that we have set, about 0.9 works well. Inflate them both together. Always release a little bit of air on both of the balloons. And I push the air out so that I've got enough length to then tie that later. Tie the two together. Okay, so what we are going to do is just tie this on here. Probably could have done this step before, is to actually mold the arms, but essentially you want the upper part of the arm to be longer than the lower part from the elbow to the hand. So just taking a stab in the dark here, I'm going to make my twist at this point. Get the arms parallel to each other, just to mirror the exact same proportions. Okay, made the pinch twists, and then going to tie the two together here on the ends, making sure there's a lot of elasticity on the uninflated part of the 260Q. So try and tie it off towards the very tip of the 260Q. Hey Hannah, can you helium inflate a monkey head for me please? I forgot to do that. Thanks. Okay, so pull that through, the 5-inch, left and right. So the body is at 45 degrees to the far base, but that's fine, it looks good because the feet are actually here. So while Hannah gets that monkey head ready, what we'll do is the neck component. The first one we did had 5-inch on the neck, it just didn't really hold the head together that well, so we just developed another way of using a 260Q to create some little pinch twists. Okay. Kind of like a blossom, like a flower design. Thanks, Hannah. Cheers. Okay, so I've tied the first part of that blossom as a knot back to the 260Q, just so that way you can get started from the very edge of the balloon. Now just make sure that these pinch twists are as identical as possible. You need 4 of them, just like a flower. You notice I left a bit of excess on the end there because as we're twisting it's pushing that excess out. Okay, so we've got our neck or flower style. So I'm just going to cut the excess there, a little cut on the end. It just stops the balloon. You don't want to cut it in the middle because it's going to shatter into pieces. So it just allows for a nice slow deflation. Tie a knot on that. Make sure you tie knots any time at the end of the 260Q. Right, so I'll just leave that there. We've got a helium inflated monkey head. We're helium inflating them right now. You should be able to air inflate it, but we're just testing the product because it's new, and the helium just gives it a bit more buoyancy. Now this is pretty important. You want to make sure that the neck is as tight to the shoulders as possible. You don't want to have the foil sticking out too much. You want it to be nice and tied in, especially if it's air inflated, because otherwise there's nothing that's going to give it a bit of lift. I'll just top that up a wee bit more. Okay, so you should have enough on these 260Qs, that's cool. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just fold it, just like that. And I'm wrapping the 260Q around it once. You can do it twice, 3 times, whatever. Just make sure it's got a nice foothold. And it's important to fold the neck of the balloon because the self-sealing valve is right up in there, and one clean fold should hold it together. If we scrunch it, there's always a possibility that we're going to do a bit of damage to that valve and it could leak slowly over time. All right, so we've got our little neck. Just twist that over. Pull the arms through so that they're coming out equally left and right. And centered. And there we go. One monkey. So we've pre-done the bubble, curled ribbon, and you can connect it onto that if you want, onto the hand. Currently what I'm doing is just leaving it as is, as a separate piece. But the whole point of this product is that a courier can deliver it, throw it on a table, on the ground, bounce around, in a bag, out of a bag, and it's durable and it'll last a distance.